And I don't want to be drawn into a debate with Christians. I am approaching the text through a Jewish lens. What I will say, though, the reason that I do want to stitch into this, so the debate is about in the Garden of Eden in Genesis 2, God says, do not eat of this fruit or you will surely die. Eve eats from the fruit and Adam eats from the fruit and they don't die. And so Dan McClellan, the Bible scholar, said, here's an instance of God lying within the text. And Inspiring Philosophy, or IP here, joining others like the sock puppet debunking Dan, are just arguing that there's different ways to read the text and God isn't lying. This is a classic example of the default position, people suggesting the default position for reading the Bible is through a Christian lens. It just is the case that in the Jewish tradition, God does lie. Let me just show you an example. What you see behind me is commentary on the Torah from the Jewish Theological Seminary, which is in New York. This commentary reads, this is on what we're talking about here in Genesis 2. God was wrong, parentheses, or lied, when he said to Adam and Eve, you must not eat of the fruit lest you die.
Here's the bridegroom. Whoa, now I gotta look into this. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm done. And what I found is that I didn't really find a whole lot of Jewish websites or anything where they were teaching that God lied. Matter of fact, most of those that did teach that labeled themselves as modern Judaism or progressive Judaism. Most of them gave this interpretation of that passage. Most of them said that the literal translation of it should be, dying you shall die, which indicates the beginning of dying. And then most of them that did say that God lied used really weak arguments, like instances in the Bible where people lied and didn't get punished for it, and stuff like this. In Genesis 18, where the Lord tells Abraham, this time next year you shall have a son, and Sarah laughs to herself, they point out the fact that the Lord doesn't completely quote what Sarah said to herself in her heart. She leaves out the fact that she said, with my husband so old. They say the fact that he left that out, that means that the Lord lied. Now right here I want to stop for a minute and point out the fact that I believe that a lot of times when people don't leave parts out of a story, it's because it's not relevant to the topic or the person that they're speaking to. It's not always a lie. 90% of the time it's not. It's just people leaving specific things out because of the person they're talking to or the topic of the conversation. But there are those instances where people are trying to be deceitful, and I believe from the text we can believe that the Lord is not being deceitful. Now I'd also like to point out to you that in Numbers 23:19, the Lord says, God is not a man that he should lie. Point being, God doesn't lie. Here's the bridegroom. Here's the bridegroom. Come on out to meet him. Come on out to meet him.